Hello everyone. Well, Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Welcome to this BIOTA-EVC scientific webinar of fireflies and spiders. We will begin shortly, so please mute your microphone and turn off video until it's your turn. Use the chat or question and answer panel for questions. We'll address them during the open forum. If you experience audio issues, try reconnecting or switching your audio device. Please stay switched on and avoid multitasking. Welcome to this BIOTA-EVC scientific webinar will start in a few minutes. Fireflies and spiders. Thanks for joining us. We will begin shortly. Looking forward to your participation. Hello everyone. Welcome to this BIOTA-EVC scientific webinar. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this BIOTA-EVC scientific webinar of Fireflies and Spiders. We will begin shortly, so please mute your microphone and turn off video until it's your turn. Use the chat or question and answer panel for questions. We'll address them during the open forum. If you experience audio issues, try reconnecting or switching your audio device. Please stay switched on and avoid multitasking. We've got great content ahead. The webinar will start in a few minutes. Thanks for joining us. Looking forward to your participation.
Hello, good morning everyone. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. And welcome to this BIOTA-EVC scientific webinar on fireflies and spiders. We will be talking about these two interesting and fascinating creatures that we often overlook, but actually have a very important role in our ecosystem. And we're very happy to have you here this Saturday morning. And so in order to start our program today, let's kick it off with the national anthem and a short prayer.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, hewas ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyang ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong bangaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal, ang isang ng mataw.
our ever-loving Father, the core of every reason, the source of truth. You who made the earth and the heavens are the ultimate goal of every knowledge seekers, the infinite wisdom, the cause of all that is good. We are truly grateful for this opportunity to gather together as a community despite the challenges we face each day. Yet you remained and gave us strength to carry on the responsibilities of bearing intelligence and using them for better purposes. We now humbly ask you to join us in our endeavor to explore the wonders of life in the world for knowledge's sake, that in whatever we learn today, we become more grounded to you, who is truth, who is love. We pray that you bless our speakers, the fount of your infinite knowledge, that they can share something worthwhile despite the limited time we have. They can channel all they know and share to us the beauty and truth of living as your child. We pray that you guide our participants, the seekers of your boundless knowledge, that they may continue to persevere in the search and be deemed worthy to share what they learn from today's session. Sanctify us, O Lord, not because we are worthy of it, but because we believe in your love and mercy, that at the end of today, we can take home something that's amazing and meaningful. This we ask and pray through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Magandang umaga po ulit sa ating lahat. Welcome again to this BIOTA-EVC scientific webinar. I would like to welcome all our Biotans from the Eastern Visayas chapter, and also the Biotans from across the Philippines who are actually joining us. We are also live in YouTube. So those who cannot join us here in Zoom or who have not registered as members, they can also view this session in YouTube. So for this morning, we have actually two talks focusing on fireflies and spiders. So I would like to acknowledge our resource persons who are already with us. I am going to introduce them later, and also the officers of the BIOTA-EVC headed by our president. At this point, let me acknowledge our chapter president, Dr. Lenny Yap Deheto, for the welcome remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Before I formally welcome everybody to our webinar, first I'd like to introduce you to our organization, the Biology Teachers Association in the Eastern Visayas chapter. This is a chapter that is newly formed. We were just we were formed 2019 before the pandemic, and so we're relatively new to the Biology Teachers Association group. It's a newly formed chapter. Of course, Biology Teachers Association was formed a long time ago. I think it's the longest organization there is of biology teachers. I know this for a fact since my mother, who was a biology teacher, was also a member of this organization many years ago. I think decades ago. So, but for the Eastern Visayas chapter, we were formed before the pandemic, and we were a bit in hibernation, and we were helping out during the pandemic times. That we are just recently being the ones. We just recently activated ourselves. We have been for some time in the pandemic been working with the health sector, with trying to assist in the COVID-19 tracing, and was this the validation and testing, COVID testing. But after the pandemic, and so we are here now to resume our activities for Eastern Visayas. But this webinar is open, since this is online mode. Then this is open also to even to non-Eastern Visayas biology teachers, and not only biology teachers. BIOTA has actually opened itself. The organization has opened itself to not exclusively for biology teachers, but biologists in general, and also students in biology can apply for associate member, and maybe when they graduate, they can apply for regular member. So there's that, and I think maybe Sir Chris can explain that further. But for now, I am my task is to welcome everyone to the webinar, and this is about fireflies and spiders, and we have our experts in the field here in the Philippines. Actually, we know the spider woman, Dr. Dupio, Amy Dupio here, who's already famous with volumes of work for spiders. But the fireflies, as we have known recently, that it's not it has been quite neglected. This organism, and this very important organism, it's a unique organism that is able to bioluminesce and contribute also to the ecology of the planet. It is actually dwindling, and it is said that we are the last generation to ever see the firefly. So I was looking at the literature and searching for researches done in the Philippines, and it was not so much. There's a dearth of research and work on fireflies, and so that's why fortunately Ma'am Jessa, we are able to contact Ma'am Jessa, and she will share with us her work on fireflies and knowledge on fireflies too. So I hope everyone will have all a fruitful webinar today, this morning, and hopefully we can pursue and further works on. Somebody might be interested to work on, hopefully we will stir up interest on working with fireflies and also spiders, so that they can be conserved. And as you know, even how tiny organisms are, how we think that they're like very tiny, and we think that since they are tiny, they might be useless, but as you know, everything is interconnected, and so these tiny organisms, if they get lost in the ecosystem in our world, we don't know what will happen. one thing leads to another, right? And so so I hope we will learn a lot in this discussion, and everyone also will feel welcome. And so this is a welcoming message, and so welcome everyone to the webinar on fireflies and spiders.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Lenny, for the welcome remarks. Once again, welcome ulit to our BIOTA-EVC scientific webinar. We actually have about 100 registrants who are supposed to join us in Zoom, but since it's a Saturday morning, baka sinalang muna ang laundry bago mag-join. So, but there are also some who are joining us in our YouTube live stream. As Ma'am Lenny has mentioned, actually BIOTA-EVC is a relatively new chapter. It's not really that new. We started in 2019, but we also started with a pandemic in 2020. So we're just reviving again the chapter. And we are so glad that in this webinar, we're actually joined by two resource persons, and one of them is actually the president of BIOTA, whom we will meet later. Andito na po si Ma'am Amy, and andito din po si Ma'am Chessa, who will be our first speaker. So I am sure that all of you are excited to learn about fireflies and spiders. This is also something new to me because although these are insects, these are quite big in my world, being a microbiologist. So I am excited to learn about fireflies and spiders. And if you are also excited and if you're ready to listen to our talks, can you please give me a heart react so that I will know that you're all there? Ayan, maraming heart reacts. Thank you very much. So I think we are all ready for our first talk. And our first talk will be on fireflies. Before the talk, let me introduce first our speaker for the session. Our first speaker is a dedicated environmental scientist working at the intersection of biodiversity conservation and community development. She currently serves as Program Manager of Community-Centered Conservation, C3 Philippines, where she leads initiatives focused on marine biodiversity protection, endemic species conservation, sustainable coastal governance, and responsible seafood sourcing. Her work directly supports fisherfolk and local governments in building resilient, ecologically sound coastal communities. She holds a degree in biology from the University of the Philippines, Baguio, and has earned 2 master's degrees, one in environmental management from Palawan State University and another in environmental science from UP Diliman, where she is now completing her PhD. A former member of BIOTA Philippines, she continues to advocate for science-based, community-centered conservation. She is a graduate of the Blue Carbon Plus Challenge Cohort 2025 and part of the 2025 Asian Species Action Partnership Network of Women Leaders. Her conservation work spans from protecting endangered marine species to preserving habitats where fireflies thrive, emphasizing the deep interconnection between people and nature. Across coastlines, barangays, and policy tables, she brings science and advocacy together in service of ecological integrity and community well-being. And so to tell us more about fireflies, let us please welcome Ms. Jessa Marie Salvador Kaabay. Ma'am Jessa, please.
Good morning po. Am I audible?
Yes po, ma'am. Very much audible.
Okay naman po. Thank you so much. So, first, I would like to thank BIOTA-EVC for this opportunity to share fireflies. Honestly speaking, medyo kinakabahan ako ngayon at feel like a student. Kaharap ko po ang mga ma'am and sir natin who are really good, I think, sa pagdating sa field ng biology, ano. So as mentioned, I was a former BIOTA member way back 2016. And it's pleasure to hear po na nag-expand na ang BIOTA. And to think na marami na din pwedeng maging associate members. Because I left BIOTA, I did not apply again to be a member since from the academe, I shifted to an NGO workbook. So allow me to share some of one of our insects that we should be proud of, but yet it is somehow neglected in terms of research. So allow me to share my screen. Sorry. Can you see my screen po?
Yes po, ma'am. It's clear.
Thank you. So for this talk, I think I was tasked to just give an introduction about the fireflies, the state of knowledge, especially here in the Philippines, and future research and conservation. So for the outline of this talk, I will be giving the description, the distributions, and we will be talking about bioluminescence, in which this group of organisms are very well known of, the life cycle, as well as its habitat, and of course, the studies and the state of knowledge currently. Baka po may mga interested din na mag-delve into the study of fireflies, specifically sa Philippines, and of course, the priorities for future research. And so, ano nga po ba ang fireflies? They are from the Lampyridae family. Member po sila ng beetles or the Coleoptera, and they are commonly known as lightning bugs. The Coleopterans, or the beetles, it includes over 2,000 species, and approximately there are 100 genera and 8 subfamilies, which kabilang po yung ating Lampyridae. So these are just some of the pictures of the fireflies that we know of. And I think you have seen some of this because most of the tourism activities na involve ang ating river system, mangrove system, like that in the Bohol and in Palawan, they utilize the fireflies, specifically their bioluminescence. So for the fireflies, commonly, ayun nga po, they are globally distributed. They are all over the world. Though, if you're going to search for studies concerning this unique organisms, they are very limited. Why? Because they are more diversely found in warm and humid environment, since this is their habitat in terms of their life cycle, including their reproduction and all. And we are lucky po because the richest fauna is found in South America and Asia. Of course, kabilang po yung Philippines. So later, we will take a look at kinds of fireflies we have. And so the congregations and the synchronous flashing lights, there are lots of record in Southern Asia, in Western Pacific, in East India, and of course, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, and Papua New Guinea. So we are very lucky since these are globally distributed, but most of the records are found within our jurisdiction within our country. So basically po, yan. Bakit ba sikat ang fireflies, though limited ang studies? Primarily, we know fireflies there as such because they were able to emit light. They bioluminescent katulad nga ng nabanggit. So, para kasing Christmas light siya. Kaya hindi din laging napapansin pang December lang. Parang ganun po yung nangyayari when it comes to studies in terms of the fireflies. So, ang bioluminescence po, hindi naman siya unique among the Lampyridae or the lightning bugs. But it is best understood in this group. Why? Because they represent the highest diversity of bioluminescent terrestrial organisms. So we also have bioluminescent plankton and other organisms But this group of organisms, in terms of bioluminescent, they are the most diverse. And the bioluminescent emission within these organisms could be observed from being an egg up to being an adult. It depends on the species. And so all of the members of the family Amperidae emit light at some stage during their life cycle. So as I have mentioned, you could observe this depending on the species. Some of the adult fireflies do not emit light, but their eggs and their larvae, almost most of the time and most of the species emit light. And so how do they emit this light? It could be seen through their abdomen. If you have seen a firefly book, yung abdomen part, it is where the light would be emitted because of the structure of that abdomen. So in terms of the babies, their eggs and the larvae, it is always on the 8th abdominal segment. But in adults, it varies. Why? Because they have developed different functions of this light emitting property in terms of their uses. So this is an image of a female and male firefly. So as I have said, all of the known larvae produces a glow through this paired organ, which is usually found within the 8th abdomen segment. How does it happen? So as I have said, there is this structure within these fireflies that make it possible for them to emit the light. But primarily, this is the structure of their abdomen. Sorry. So this is a cross section of the light organ of the Lampyridae in general, cross section. So these are the photocytes. Yes. These photocytes, these are the cells within the structure that enables them to emit light, aside from the other parameters and factors that are needed. This urate granules, it is somehow like a prism that enables light to be emitted or to be visible when it was produced. And the trachea here performs the major function of allowing oxygen to enter their body, because one of the ingredients needed for emission is oxygen. The mitochondria here, on the other hand, produces or it houses the ATP that is needed during bioluminescence. And there's a cuticle that is translucent. That is why the light is visible. So how does it happen? So there is a sequence that is involved during light production in fireflies. So we have this luciferin. It is derived from the metabolic pathway in fireflies that is regularly found within them. So they were able to metabolize this. And of course, as I have said, it is powered by ATP and magnesium. And it is catalyzed by the enzyme luciferase. So it is a sequence of oxygen-dependent reactions. So that is why the presence of the trachea within the abdomen of the fireflies makes it possible for them to emit light. And among all the other organisms and organisms that produces light, one of the unique factors or facts about fireflies is that they emit light very efficiently. So 98% of that light is emitted as light or cold light. So no energy is being thrown out during the reaction. So this is very efficient. So what is the function of bioluminescence in the fireflies or the Lampyridae? Okay, so there are 3 known functions. First is a mating signal. This one is the most familiar. The other one is defense mechanism, and the other one is to attract prey. But there are several other studies that are being conducted, but not in the Philippines, trying to see if there are other functions of bioluminescence in the period. So let's first talk about the one that I think everybody knows of, which is as a mating signal for the fireflies. So there are different species of fireflies belonging to this family. And each one, it is like a fingerprint of that species. It is a unique pattern or frequency of lighting or flashing among different species if that bioluminescence is used as a mating signal. So it's like, of course, we all know that the same species will only be able to reproduce. So it is like a mark or a clue of that species for them to find their mate. So in terms of the flash, the color, the frequency, each species has a unique. And in general, they could be divided into different ones. If you have visited a firefly watching activity, you might notice that there are different frequencies and flashing activities and even the colors of these fireflies. So we have congregating synchronous flashing type. This one, ito po yung medyo sikat pagdating sa mga tourism activities kasi yun nga, they look like Christmas lights. Wherein all of the species present of the same species, they are almost together within one tree or habitat, and they will flash their lights synchronously. The other one, the congregating non-synchronous flashing type, they congregate, they go together in the same species, but they don't care how the other fireflies will flash their light. They will just flash it. Okay. And of course, we also have the solitary fireflies who do not go together with the other species or within the same group, and they just flash their own light, whatever their companions are. So as a mating signal, this light emission, katulad po ng iba pang mga organisms or flora and fauna that we know of, it is like a signal that is used to attract the other individual. So this light emission of the same species, they aggregate and they flash synchronously, and this improves the chance of mating. Para it is a go signal, like, I'm here, notice me. So yun po yung sa mating signal. And based on studies, they have the capacity to detect flashing colors at night. Though they do not stop flashing light during the day. Of course, mas visible siya at nighttime, but also they have this spectrum within their eyes na nakaka-detect po na central na specific wavelength. For example, one species of firefly could detect the blue sa wavelength. So yun po yung nagiging signal kung bakit same species could have the capacity to detect anong species yung andoon. It's because they have this capacity. And also, in some species of fireflies, the females are sedentary and wingless. So nakastambay lang po sila, and they use this light to attract the winged males. So ang nangyayari, they will climb up sa leaves ng mga trees, and they will flash their light so that the male fireflies could get to notice them, and the male fireflies will go to them. And in some species naman po, where the females are winged, these are also used to seek the mates. Okay, but they flash their lights looking for the mates or the male mate. But they are the ones who seek for these mates, unlike dun sa wingless na sila yung nag-aantay. So that is for the mating signal as a function of bioluminescence in Lampyridae. So as I have mentioned, another function is for defense mechanism. First, it could be used as aposematic signaling, wherein it's like a signal to the predator, telling the predator that I am not edible. I don't taste well. So how does it happen? Generally, these fireflies or the bioluminescent ones, they have chemicals, the lucifugins, that are the insectivores. It doesn't taste good. It's somehow toxic to them. And when they flash their light, it is a signal to that predator trying to eat them that they have this. Aside from that, they also may reflex bleed when disturbed. So aside from the color, when they were disturbed, they could reflex bleed. And that signal is another defense mechanism for them so that the predator will not try to have them as their food. And other known species that avoid fireflies because of this bioluminescence, we have the house mice, the birds, the wood ants, the toads, and the bats. So based on studies, it was due to their flashing lights that this other species try to avoid them. Another also is that this flashing or bioluminescence in the fireflies, they reduce the risk of predators using three mechanisms. First one is that we have the predators known as the neophobic or the photophobic predators. For the photophobic, of course, obviously they're not attached or attracted to light, so they might be reluctant to attack these fireflies. And neophobic, on the other hand, is like if it's like the predator hasn't experienced an organism or a prey that emits light, so they will be restricted from getting those fireflies. Another is the sudden flash may startle an approaching predator long enough to allow escape. So though it is a mechanism or a part of the metabolic pathway of the fireflies, there are studies that suggest that they have the ability to control when and how this light will be flashed. So sometimes there is this predator and they will just like flash it suddenly and try to escape. And the last one, as mentioned, it may serve as an aposematic signal that they are distasteful because of the toxins they have, or just because they're not tasteful at all. And the third one, so though they are prey most of the times, they could also be predators. So they use these lights to attract the prey. Some species of fireflies, we have this in the Philippines, the Coturis, they used to mimic the mating signal of other species. So para siyang manlolokohan mo. So this is, for example, the flashing signal of one species is 1, 2, 3. They will mimic that. And one of the male individual of that species will try to go over her thinking that it is of the same species, but it's just a Coturis mimicking the flashing signal of that firefly, and then it will have the chance to prey on the other male fireflies. So this may be species specific, and also it could be an ability to mimic multiple species. So for the life cycle of the fireflies, they are holometabulous insects, meaning they have a complete metamorphosis, wherein there is a distinct changes in their appearance, in their morphology in each of the stage. So this is a general diagram of the life cycle of a typical Lampyridula. So yung adult firefly, medyo maiksi lang po yung buhay niya, 3 to 4 weeks. But the whole life cycle itself is around 3 to 4 months. And as I have said, Lampyridae are known to emit light dun sa life cycle na ito, at least once. That's why there are lighting bulbs. Some of the adults will not be able to emit light, but at the stage of their life cycle, even the egg You could see glowing eggs in the field if it is a firefly. And as I've said, all of their larvae emit light. So for the life cycle, it is really variable. There is a diversity in terms of the morphology as well as the activities. So I will not go over with the details, but I'll just say that as an egg, this egg, the female firefly could give birth more than once in their lifetime, but it is not yet documented how many times they could. But during one cycle, they could give birth to 20 to 50 eggs. They will lay this egg in moist conditions, usually along river banks, na yung soil is made of silt because they need moisture for that egg. And after that, this egg will slowly develop into a larvae. The egg is just sedentary, as we know it. But the larvae could be a predator. So there are different instars of this larvae. But during this life cycle, they could eat or prey upon different organisms, mostly bigger than them. The average size of a firefly is 10 to 15 millimeters and not more than 3 centimeters. But their larvae could reach up to 8 centimeters. And I think sa lahat ng cycle, ito yung parang pinaka nakakatakot na stage sa firefly. Because this larvae has the capacity to inject toxic substances into its prey, like this in the picture of the snail, and then this substance will start to degrade the components of that snail, but not the shell, of course. And it will suck those degraded components. So, yun yung parang feeling ko, scary part ng fireflies, though it's not that lethal on other organisms. And after that, mag-undergo ng instar stages, yung larvae. It will start to burrow, looking for a safe place para maging pupa. And that pupa, again, I measure inactive. And after 12 days, will hatch into an adult. So this life cycle of the lamparids or the fireflies are very dependent on their environment. So relatively, once there are changes in the environment, they are affected. Why? Because the different stages of their lives depends on the environment. So disturbed habitats affects larval life and of course may affect the whole life cycle ng fireflies. That is why in some areas, the presence of fireflies is a bioindicator that the quality of the environment, the water quality is good in that area. As I have mentioned, yung life cycle nila ay nakadepende dun sa iba't ibang location nila. So the adult, they prefer to live on leaves, on trees, specifically mangroves. But there are other studies that have seen that aside from mangroves, they could live on other trees they prefer. So they prefer living on the trees, of course, for mating, for reproduction, and some of them eat nectars. And they mate on these areas too. And when they lay their eggs, the female fireflies tend to migrate. It is not yet recorded, but maybe the maximum for now is 2 kilometers from where they mate. But they look for a river bank or a moist environment to lay their eggs. And from that, their larvae will move on to another area wherein it's less, the moisture is lesser, but with the presence of many other species that could they prey upon. And after that, they have to move again to find a secure place for their pupa, for themselves, for them as pupa, so that they will not be disturbed, they're inactive, and they could just wait for the days that they will grow as firefly. So once there is a disturbance within this environment, or the quality is not good in terms of the water in the air, the whole life cycle will be disturbed. If you have visited Palawan, merong famous dito na Acacia Tunnel, and it has been like one of the controversies because they tried putting lights within those Acacia Tunnel. And the sad thing is, aside from the fireflies, marami pang organism na disturb because of this light. May mga changes doon sa kanilang environment, specifically for the fireflies. Because they have this, as I have said, may several spectra lang sa mata nila that could detect light. And of course, they tend to migrate from that area, aalis sila. So, aside from that, sorry. Yeah. They change. Some of the species were recorded to just have one area throughout their life cycle, and another species that change area from time to time. So it really varies. So among the other factor that were considered na gustong tirahan ng fireflies, andyan yung height. Kapag masyadong mataas, medyo delikado sa kanila kasi mas obvious sila with the predators. Ganun din pag masyadong mababa. But they needed elevation for them to attract and to reproduce successfully. The crown size, of course, even the leaf density and the trunk diameter. So these are some of the factors that are being considered as the factors na nakaka-apekto dun sa preference ng tree nila. And of course, the presence of sap or nectaries and the health of the tree. So these are some of the variables that affect the firefly disturbance. Nakita sa study that has the relative importance is in terms of the day, seasonality. Most of the fireflies, mas preferred nila yung medyo maulan kasi nga kailangan nila ng moisture. And of course, seasons or the condition changes with that of the seasons. So for the studies and state of knowledge, as mentioned noong welcome remarks, medyo limited yung nag-aaral sa fireflies. And yung clear definition nila is recent lang siya naging clear. Even the taxonomic classification, there are several authors suggesting different types of families, a number of genera and others. Why? Kasi nga limited po yung nag-aaral pagdating sa firefly. Even I myself, I have to shift from studying fireflies because of the materials we have here in the Philippines. Even the resources are very limited. So I think this talk is also an encouragement for some of you to delve into the studies of fireflies if you would want to. So during the century, paiba-iba yung taxonomic classification ng ating fireflies, which I know naman could be a progress because we know that something has been developing through this. So basically, from 1907, may siyam lang na family, subfamilies rather, 1996, 7, and now, ang ating pong ginagamit ay the combination ng tatlong ito. So, these are some studies na specific pa lang sa distribution and abundance ng Lampyridae. Currently, sa Philippines, parang puro, not really puro, but most of the studies are limited to the distribution as well as identification of fireflies. So in Malaysia, they record 18 species. In Thailand, 19. In Brazil, there were 26 species recorded. And ito po yung current na ginagamit nating taxonomic classification when it comes to the Lampyridae. I will not go over with this. Okay. So sa Philippines, ang studies as well as sa other neighboring countries ay focused on congregating fireflies. Mostly Pteroptics po yung firefly na meron tayo that we know. Kasi andito yung majority ng studies. First, kasi nga mas nakaka-caught sila ng attention because of their flashing signals. So in the Philippines, they were used for not only for the Philippines, this is all over the world. Ang unang gamit niya, of course, ay ecotourism. If you have visited one, maganda po talaga siyang tignan. Another is for medicine. Because of the lux gene and luciferin, there have been studies that is used that they could cure heart diseases as well as tuberculosis. Kasi po, sinasabi na yung sa luciferin is like a paralog yung gene na from birth, nagkakaroon ng gene duplication events wherein nag-iiba yung function nung pag-emit ng light. And of course, for agriculture, it is used as a biological control agent, some of the fireflies, because they tend to like shoo away some, for example, pests. And it is also known to use in biotechnology for testing harmful bacteria in food and beverage industries kasi mas madaling nakikita because of their bioluminescence. And even in space exploration po, so there is one that the NASA extract firefly lanterns for bioassay in space exploration to detect if there is a presence of ATP in the space. And so these are some of the studies that have been published in terms of fireflies. And in the Philippines, there have been a comprehensive sampling of the beetles, the whole Coleoptera, whatnot, focused on fireflies. So this one, I think this was way back 2021. If you will search Lampyridae in the IUCN Red List, wala ka pong makikita. This is way back 2021. But good thing that there has been studies. If you try to search this specific family, the Lushola, this was again way back 2021 or 2020, I think. Walang record sa IUCN. So medyo nakakapanghina po yun. But now, if you try to search Lampyridae, nakakatuwa na there have been studies na and sa IUCN. And they were able to categorize some of the species of fireflies. Though, madami pa din pong species that are unknown in terms of their distribution and population. So kung titignan niyo po, marami ng vulnerable, pero marami ding least concerned. Not because their population is good, but because we have no sufficient data to support this. So there is a total of 50 species and subspecies estimated, but not yet fully recorded in the Philippines. Only 15 of these are recorded. And the good thing is 10 of these 15 is endemic in the Philippines. So there are still other species that are undescribed or unidentified. This might be new species po. So here in terms of the study of the beetle, yung estimated unrecorded species ng fireflies ay napakarami pa po. So this is just an assessment in UP-Diliman, knowing that there have been actions to address these issues in terms of the limited data of fireflies. So ito po yung mga areas na may mga study. And some of these areas have, as I have said, may mga ecotourism sila wherein they were able to utilize this bioluminescent within the fireflies for livelihood activities, But the studies are focused on taxonomy and systematics. So I am nearing the end, and I think this is a call for everyone here. Knowing this about fireflies, about the limited studies, some of the gaps that I have identified is it is unknown generally yung kanila distribution, even the morphology, and the ecological services of these fireflies. And in connection to that, of course, the stakeholder
Hello? Is it me who's disconnected or was the talk disconnected?
I think yung talk po, sir.
Okay. Okay po, ma'am. Thank you. I think there's a problem with the connection of Ma'am Chessa, no? Okay, let's wait for a while until she returns. To this point, it was a very interesting talk on fireflies, no? So let's give her a few minutes until she returns. If not, I'm going to move on to the next talk, and then when Ma'am Chessa returns, we will let her wrap up and do the question and answer. But let's give her a few minutes kasi baka naman panandali ang disconnection lang ang nangyari. Okay?
Bakit sobrang sa saging? Adi na. Natutukan. Ah, PJ. Thank you. Sabi? Nasa din sa libre.
All right. I think Ma'am Chessa is not yet back, right? So in the interest of time, we will when she returns, we will let her wrap up the talk kasi nagra-wrap up na rin naman siya before siya naputol, ano? And then we will move on to the question and answer after that. But at this time, from Fireflies, let's move on to andito na si Ma'am, pabalik na. Teka muna, hintayin na lang natin. Hi, Ma'am Chessa.
connectivity issues.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
May I know
You can continue po, ma'am, sa wrap up.
May I know where
We
I
can
cut
proceed
off?
with the question and answer. Nasa
Okay, thank you.
end na po, ma'am. Nasa
Yes.
research, sa end. Parang almost last slide na yata yun, ma'am.
Gaps. The research, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, as I was mentioning. So these are some of the priorities that I think you could maybe take a look. So the relationship of the distribution and the diversity of Lampyridae with water quality, as well as the effect of different environmental factors on it, and also the optimal habitat requirements in the life stages of Lampyridae. And so I think that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much po, Ma'am Jessa, for that very interesting talk on fireflies. Sabi ko nga na naputol pa na towards the end na naman talaga. Okay? So at this point, we are opening the floor for questions so that they will be addressed by our resource person who actually talked so much about fireflies. I think personally for me, there were many things that I have learned for the first time in this talk. So maybe I'll ask for those who want to ask questions, you can post your questions in the Q&A box or in the chat box. We will pick it up. Or if you want to talk, you can also raise your hand so that we can acknowledge you. You can turn on your cam and you can talk. Okay. So maybe I was looking at your profile, Ma'am Jess, and you are mostly into conservation. So I would like to know what brought you to fireflies and what also made you decide to somehow leave it for a while or kasi sabi mo you already like moved from fireflies or maybe temporarily moved from it. What were the reasons?
Okay, thank you po. So yes, I was working on conservation, basically sa marine in terms of the ecosystems that we have. We have seagrasses, mangroves, and corals. So upon trying to examine mangroves, na-attract ako sa fireflies who uses mangroves as their primary habitat. Yun po yung unang time na na-attract ako sa kanila. And in that way, I have seen that there are different mangrove ecosystems. Some of this have many fireflies, while the other doesn't have any. So yun po yung naging major na naging parang cap off nung sa akin na ano yung effect niya within these fireflies. And I tried to search baka there are answers within the journal that we have within publication. And that is the time na na-realize kong wala at all. So, puro lang siya distribution ng fireflies without trying to look deeper into its environment. And aside from that, they utilizes bioluminescence as part of their ecotourism activities. That's why I tried to study fireflies. But, yun nga po, malaki kasi yung effect niya in terms of ecosystem balance. Interconnectedness and parang if you're familiar with the reef to reach approach, yun po yung tinatry namin for conservation. And yung fireflies, they are in between the reef and the ridge. Kaya I think malaki po yung role na piniplay nila. But sad to say, yun nga po, there are very limited resources. Na I think BIOTA could try to look into. Ayun po. Thank you.
Right. That is very good. Actually, I feel guilty because when I was actually reviewing for this talk, on fireflies, I saw that they are actually like in the mangrove area. And my work is also more on the mangrove area, but I am a microbiologist, so I'm working on fungi in mangroves. And we're also talking about mangrove conservation, but I have never really it didn't come into these fireflies in mangrove areas. It never crossed my radar. So I feel guilty also. And when we say conservation of the mangrove ecosystem, it includes everything, right? So ngayon alam ko na you actually started from mangroves and then you got interested in fireflies. Okay, so that's actually a holistic approach for conservation, right? So, and this is also a good opportunity because we have teachers, we have students who are joining us. So tamang-tama ang call. There's another question here, Ma'am Jessa, from Ma'am Catherine Precioso. She says, thank you, Ma'am Jessa, for the interesting discussion. If there are students or teachers who would like to study fireflies, are you open for any collaboration or consultation? Because I think we will need assistance more specifically in identification and classification of this species.
And thank you po, Ma'am Catherine. It will be my pleasure po to help out, pero limited pa din po tayo. Kaya I think it will be really a collaboration. May mga students pong nag-email sa akin regarding this. And I think it is a proof na konti pa lang talaga yung nagsastudy ng Firefly. So yes po. Yes, that is po. I would like to share lang may isa akong study na naputol on Firefly if you would want to. So one of the studies na tinry kong gawin ay to look into its gut and then to try to get whatever it is within their gut and to try to do a DNA analysis or barcoding. The problem is, parang wala pa tayo, what do you call that, barcode ng lahat ng mangrove dito sa Philippines. So medyo mahirap pa siyang gawin at this level. But it could be possible po. Try to look into the gut of the firefly and try to explore kung ano yung kinakain niya.
Interesting.
Madali pa po yung, yes. Sorry, madali pa po yung permit kasi for now, least concerned si Firefly.
Okay.
So in terms of collection.
So it's really a good opportunity to start studies. Kasi ako din, like, although I may not really be well versed on it, but I do not really see so many studies on fireflies. That's why I was really interested. Oh, but same fireflies and also spiders, which will come later. So there are still many things that can be done. May I ask, ma'am, like in the identification of fireflies, are we already using like DNA barcodes?
Yes po, I think we do have in UP Diliman, but the one that I have contacted is from Korea, and Thailand. Mas okay po yung resource nila, though hindi ko pa masyadong na-explore yung dito sa Philippines. But yes, I think so.
All right. So I think there's still a chance that we can discover because this is less studied in the Philippines, there's still a chance that we can discover new species of fireflies from the Philippines. You think so?
Yes po. I really think more than 70%.
Okay. So one more question. Actually, there are many questions on the chat, but I will ask the first the priority questions now, and then maybe, ma'am, you can address them in the chat later if possible. Here, Sir Joseph is saying, like, how are we going to conserve firefly species in highly urbanized areas?
Ayan. Thank you po for that. Yes, important po na ma-conserve natin ang firefly, though I think the highly urbanized areas are not the common habitat of firefly. So, like Puerto Princesa City, this is a highly urbanized area, but there are specific regions wherein these fireflies thrive. So, parang choice po talaga nila kung nasaan sila. And they tend to choose areas that are far from the city and wherein marami pa pong green belt. So, for us to conserve firefly species in highly urbanized area, pwede po muna nating alamin yung kanilang natural habitat. And from then on, of course, habitat protection and others po yung ating kailangan gamitin. But, hindi po advisable na mag-introduce tayo ng species sa ibang area. Yes po. Thank you.
All right. So thank you very much again, Ma'am Jessa, for that interesting talk and also the insights that we were able to get about the fireflies. So at this point, we would like to present the certificate. Let me just share my screen. All right. So the BIOTA Eastern Visayas chapter is presenting this certificate of appreciation to Ms. Jessa Marie Salvador Caabay of the Community-Centered Conservation C3 Philippines Incorporated for generously sharing her expertise as a resource person during the BIOTA-EVC scientific webinar of Fireflies and Spiders, held on October 18, 2025 via Zoom, given this 18th day of October 2025 and signed by our chapter president, Professor Lenny Yap Deheto. Thank you very much again, Ma'am Jessa, for the talk this morning. Right, so from fireflies, we'll move on to the next group of insects, which are the spiders. And let me introduce first our speaker for this session. Sorry, hindi pala tama ang aking pagkakashare. Nakikita niyo pala ang aking ibang screen. Ayan. Tama na ang aking pagkakashare. Okay. Ganun talaga pag live. So talagang live. Okay. Our next speaker is a leading figure in Philippine science and education. She is known as UPLB's very own spider woman, and she has described over 52 spider species, 22 rice black bug species, and 1 endemic moth. You may have seen her on television discussing her work on insects, and her work has led to more than 60 published scientific papers and earned her the 2015 Outstanding Young Scientist Award from the National Academy of Science and Technology. She is Professor 12 and UP Scientist 3 at the Institute of Biological Sciences, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Her experience in teaching has been recognized with the 2017 UPLB Outstanding Teacher Award, Bato Balani Foundation's Many Faces of a Teacher distinction, and 3 1UP Professorial Chair Awards from 2016 to 2024. Most recently, she received the 2023 Pest Management Council of the Philippines Award for Instruction. She currently serves as the president of the Biology Teachers Association of the Philippines for 2025 to 2027 and has held national leadership roles as UP System Faculty Regent and NRCP President. Across classrooms, laboratories, and field sites, she continues to champion Filipino identity, biodiversity, and transformative science education. We are truly happy that despite her busy schedule, she's able to join us this morning. So please welcome BIOTA President and Professor of UP in UP Los Baños, Professor Amiline Barion Dupo. Magandang umaga po, Ma'am Amy.
Carlo. Good morning, everyone. Maraming salamat to BIOTA Eastern Visayas chapter for the invitation and to allow me to be able to share with you siguro mga 30 to 45 minutes a bit of what I do in passion organism natin. Si-share ko lang po ang aking screen. Tingnan niyo na po, no? You can see my screen na po, Sir Carlo.
Yes po, ma'am. Clear na po.
So for this morning, we'll be looking into Webs of Wonder, exploring spider ecology in the Philippines. So I'll be giving a background what spiders are, how diverse they are, and what would be a glimpse of spider diversity in the country. So let's start with what spiders are. Kasi pag nag-aaral tayo ng spiders, usually while I am trained in entomology, which is a study of insects, oftentimes we mistake spiders as insects also. So they are a different type of arthropod, but they are related. So arthropod din ang spiders, like insects, in that they have joint paired appendages, pero meron din silang mga characteristic that separate them from insects. So for instance, spiders have two body regions. Ang insects kasi three. Ang insects ay head, thorax, abdomen. Ang spiders, yung head tsaka thorax, they are fused. And this is termed as the cephalothorax. And this is where the appendages are connected. So yung appendages natin would be 4 pairs of legs. So spiders have 8 legs compared to insects which only have 3 pairs of legs. So dapat bibilangin natin para malaman natin if we're looking at a spider or not. And then you have the abdomen which contains the reproductive parts, digestive systems of the spiders, as well as the spinnerets, kung saan lumalabas yung silk ng spiders natin. And then, for the most part, spiders have around 2 to 4 pairs of eyes. So, hindi 8 all the time. So, may mga spiders na 6 eyes, meron namang spiders na 2 lang yung eyes, but most spiders, they have 8 eyes. So, tingnan natin if may natutunan tayo this morning. Let's test your observation skills. Although hindi ko makikita yata dito yung, let's check kung makikita ko yung mga sagot nyo sa chat box. Parang hindi kasi naka-share screen. But let's see. Do you think this is an insect? So, ayun, nakikita ko yung chat. Lang. So may nagsabing yes, 3 yun. O tama, this is an insect kasi may 6 legs. So tama si Miss Catherine. Okay. Let's see the next photo. Tsaka tingnan nyo din, there are 3 body regions. You have the head, thorax, and abdomen apart from the 6 legs. What
Doc
about
Irene,
one?
how
Yes,
about thumbs up for insects and heart for spiders? Ano ba yun?
Pwede rin naman po. Although nakikita ko naman, ma'am, na yung chat
Ano,
box.
nakikita na ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Nakita ko marami naman pong tama. How about this photo? Is this an insect? Yun, may mga answers coming in. So may sumagot both, may spider at may insect. Yung isa sabi spider lang. So tama si Sir Joshua, tsaka si John. Itong photo na to is actually a spider feeding on an ant, a weaver ant. So yung nasa taas is the predator and the one at the bottom would be the prey. So this is a kind of spider that mimics ants. So, tingnan naman natin yung susunod. So, is this a spider? Okay, mabilis si Sir Joshua. Oh, yes daw, spider daw to. Again, this is an ant mimic spider. So, maraming spiders ang kumokopya sa mga langgam. Yung previous photo, this is also an ant mimic spider, but it belongs to a different family compared to this one. But they both mimic spiders. So if you notice, the first pair of legs niya are positioned to mimic the antennae of insects. But if you count the number of legs, 8 legs pa rin po yan. And then, 8 yung mata nitong spider. Okay, let's proceed. So why do spiders matter? So when I talk about spiders, many individuals would immediately ask, or basta may nakitang spider, ang unang itatanong, Will I die from the bite? Is this poisonous or is this venomous? Yun yung mga common question. Yung mamamatay po ba ako kapag nakagat ako nitong gagambang to? Or sometimes they would ask me questions, magiging si Spider-Man ba ako kapag nakagat ako ng spider? So those are the common questions that I usually encounter when I say that I study spiders. And maybe one question din is, why do we need to study and conserve spiders? So yun yung isa din. To help you understand the importance of spiders, let us refer to the ecosystem services that spiders provide. So we have colleagues who study spiders and they have compiled the ecosystem services provided by spiders. Kasi most of the time, we answer that spiders regulate insect numbers. But I'll expound more on this in terms of the ecosystem services that they provide. So here they listed around 13 ecosystem services, starting with provisioning. So spiders are structural materials. They are sources of structural materials in that the lining of bulletproof vests come from silk of spiders. We also use spider silk for engineering and technology. We characterize tensile strength, tibay ng ating mga fibers, lalo na yung mga spider webs. We study it. And then in terms of medicine and health and bioinsecticides, yung spider venom are currently being studied by our colleagues at UST, Pharmacology, kasi merong mga medicinal applications ang spider venom. Some spider venoms can be used to treat pain. Some have antimicrobial properties, and some can actually be used for bioinsecticides. Pero medyo complicated kasi yung study nito. In terms of food, well, in the Philippines, we do not eat spiders. There are other cultures who grill spiders and use spiders as alternative sources for protein. And then pets, maraming nangongolekta ng spiders, katulad ng first photo na pinakita ko kanina. This particular spider, because it looks cute, marami ngayon ang bumibili nito at inaalagaan as pets. In terms of regulating services, spiders are very much known as predators that serve agricultural ecosystems and even our household environments as pest control, libreng pest control operators natin to. So they feed on unwanted insects in our home. Because of their predatory nature, they also control diseases kasi yung vectors ng many diseases that affects humans are insects. And because spiders feed on insects, they contribute to disease control. And in the same manner, yung predatory behavior nila, they help monitor the numbers of invasive species. Kasi most of the time, when we talk about predators, we think of lions, tigers, but ang predators in forest ecosystems would be like beetles, for instance, ng ating first speaker, and spiders. So sila talaga yung nagko-control ng mga unwanted insects natin. So let me show you some evidences. Kasi with science, we have to be evidence-based. So here we have the golden orb weaver spider. Kita niyo yung yellow silk niya. It traps termites and it feeds on this, thereby controlling their numbers to a manageable number. So hindi dadami extensively yung mga termites and wreak havoc to our homes kung may spiders around. In the same manner, ito pa, isa pang klaseng termite to. Wala siya nung orb web na pinakita ko kanina. This is an active hunter. This is the Janula spider. It literally collects this termites into a ball, tapos kukunin niya for it to feed on them. And of course, you know this particular spider. Lahat ng mga takot sa spider, ito yung una kong pinapakilala kasi this is very familiar to you when you are in your homes taking a bath. This is the very first spider you see. Kaya ayaw niyong maligo kasi may malaking gagamba sa loob ng banyo ninyo. But this spider is a very active predator of cockroaches. So now your choice is to use insecticides in your home to kill the roaches, or simply leave the spider alone to do its job and regulate the cockroach pests in your homes. Pero normally, kinatatakutan kasi natin to dahil malaki, di ba po? Another ecosystem services that spiders provide would be nutrient cycling, because they feed on insects and other arthropods. They break down organic material, so contributing to nutrient cycling. They're also food for other organisms. Many birds use spiders as their food. So if spider populations decline, other organisms also decline. For instance, birds, yung ating mga sunbirds, they feed on spiders. Habitat provision. So I'll show you an example. While sunbirds feed on spiders as a source of protein, they also use spider webs as the glue for their nests. So we are observing that when you collect spiders for trade, bumababa din yung amount of nesting materials available for birds to construct their nest, thereby also affecting their populations. Kasi we collect these particular orb weavers for gambling. We have spider fights, yung spider derby. But the result of that is that the nesting material needed by certain birds is also diminished. Cultural services. So humans are also largely tied with spiders. So there are cultures that are spiritually connected with spiders. There are also spiders that are used in traditional medicine. Kaya nga, nauso din po yung study of spider venom for medicine. It's mainly based on traditional medicine practices. We have spiders in contemporary culture. They are used as inspirations for designs. Of course, during Halloween, pinaka-famous ang mga spiders. Educational, we use spiders as learning models. Mental health, there are individuals who get relaxed when they see spiders or when they have spiders as pets. And in terms of sense of place, endemic spiders would position certain countries, kaya they contribute also to a sense of space. Scientific discovery, I'll show you later kung gaano ka-diverse ang mga spiders, but they contribute to cultural services also. And monitoring of biodiversity and ecosystem health, because they are predators, they're also very important when we monitor biodiversity and ecosystem health. Kasi when the predator numbers decline, that means something is happening in the ecosystem. So ito yung example of cultural ties very much related to Filipino culture. In Itneg, yung Itneg tribe natin or Tingyan people in Abra, they have a unique and significant way of communicating their ties with spiders. So they use it in embroidery. So yung mga weaves nila, they also have embroideries symbolizing spiders. So they incorporate spider motifs into their weaving, because spiders symbolize the artisan's weaving capabilities. They also attribute the weaving of spiders for creativity. So Itneg also have the tradition of spider fighting, which provides children with their first exposure of natural history and also allows the kids to observe predator-prey interactions. So normally, many spiders are misunderstood even if we find them to be ecologically powerful. So we participated, down came the rain, kasi we participated in an extensive global study where we analyzed thousands of news articles and social media posts across the globe. These were translated into multiple languages. So we looked into, for instance, sensational news. Were the news free of errors? Did the features of the news actually involve interviews with experts or specialists? Were there particular references for us to be able to gather a picture of how spiders are misunderstood because of these posts or features. So what were the results of our study? So there was, across the globe, an exaggerated fear of spiders because many reports falsely portray spiders as aggressive or deadly, despite most species being harmless. There's also this media amplification wherein sensational headlines and unverified claims contribute to public fear and misunderstanding, mainly because experts are not interviewed, experts are not asked questions, so automatic spider bite leading to death. So that contributes amplified or exaggerated fear. So this washes out our positive view of spiders. So meron ding cultural biases reflected in this study. Western countries tend to over-report spider-related incidents and often with dramatic framing to sensationalize the news, to capture the attention of the readers. And that would have a profound impact on conservation because fear-driven stories or fear-driven narratives hinder public support for spider conservation and biodiversity efforts. Because if you are afraid of something, why will you fund their studies? But of course, with the rain, out came the sun. Global diversity still increasing. We have around 50,000 plus species worldwide, and the numbers are still growing. 130 families with diverse morphologies, mainly because spiders, they have evolutionary success in terms of silk production, venom production, and even their ability to hunt. Remember, they're predators. So let's show you why spiders are diverse or how spiders show diversity. Just look at the way they form their silken webs. So all of spiders produce silk, but they don't produce of the same orb webs. There are families that produce or use silk differently. So these are different kinds of uses of silk. So the illustration that you see here is a metaphorical tree demonstrating how various spider genera or various spiders use the type of web that they build. Example, the most common of which, when we are asked to draw a spider, we draw a circular web. And this is called an orb web. The image that you see here is the cyclosa spider or the trash line spider. So they're called trash line spider because they line their webs vertically with the prey remains, with detritus or fallen leaves, and even their egg sacs. So here, the egg sac is here. The detritus is here, and the spider is here on top. So the function of this is that it allows the spider to hide in plain sight. This is quite small spider. So if you see this in the field, sometimes you tend to ignore it. And notice the structure of the orb web. It's circular. Let's compare it with another kind of web. This is a lace sheet web. So the sheet web, it also has a funnel retreat. So just imagine a lace that would be similar to the kind of structure of this web. So this particular sheet web can extend to at least over a meter in terms of length and diameter. And you find this as one of the largest structures in tropical rainforests. So when the prey falls onto the sheet of this web, they are quickly ambushed by this spider. So unlike this one, which is more of a passive kind of predator, normally orb weavers, they don't have good eyesight. So they rely on their tactile senses to sense the movement of panicking prey that stick onto their web. This other one, it also relies on tactile senses, but it's fast moving. It ambushes its prey as soon as it gets stuck on its web. Here's another type of web. It doesn't produce the circular web, But this type of netcast web from the Deinopis spider, we have a similar spider, but it's not Deinopis. Ang tawag sa atin is Asianopis. It holds the nest, the silk between its front legs, para siyang nagninit. And then it suspends itself above the ground, similar to Spider-Man. Inverted siya. And then when the prey walks beneath this spider, it lunges downward, casting the net over its target. Para siyang kidnapper. So these are just some of the examples. And then if we look at spiders and if we'd like to know their families, normally we look at eye arrangement. So apart from the way they use silk, we also look at spiders in terms of the diversity in which they hunt prey. So vision is also important. The eye patterns help us taxonomists distinguish spider families in the field. So in terms of ecology, for instance, the eye placement reflects the hunting style of the spider. Whether a spider relies on vision, kasi if it relies on vision, it has to have big eyes. So parang si Goldilocks and yung grandmother niya, yung wolf, di ba, tinanong, what big eyes you have? Kasi to better to see you. So kapag mga hunters natin, malalaki yung mata nila. Those that do not have good vision but rely on tactile senses, normally, they have more hairs on their legs, but their vision is not that good. So medyo smaller yung eyes nila. So some families evolve specialized eyes for night vision. For example, itong ating Deinopis or Asianopis sa Pilipinas. And we use this to identify spiders at the family level. So for instance, let's look at this one. This is the Portia spider. So you'll find the milk mustache sa front ng face niya. It is a cunning predator in that it waits for the eggs of other spiders to emerge and then it catches the spiderlings, similar to an all-you-can-eat buffet. So the eye arrangement, I traced using PowerPoint shape and I depicted it here, dito sa upper left-hand portion of your screen. So given this structure, what do you think would be the family of this spider? Tingnan nga natin. So observe, tingnan niyo yung shape and also the arrangement of the eyes. Can you tell me now, what family does this spider belong to based on the eye pattern arrangement? Okay, so may first guess na si Sir Joshua, Salticidae daw. Any other guesses? Okay, nag-agree naman si Ma'am Shira and Ma'am Catherine. Tingnan natin kung tama. The correct answer is, yes, Salticidae. So notice the front eyes are quite large, mainly because they are active hunters. Let's try again sa pang-example. This is the fishing spider or Nilus albocinctus. Common din to sa Mount Makiling. So most of the photos are from Mount Makiling. They're often found near rivers kasi nga they're fishing spiders. They catch fish and they float on top of the water. They do not break the surface tension of the water. So if you see this, normally there's a stream nearby. So they're indicators of a presence of a stream. So ganito yung eye arrangement niya, parang cross. So let's see. What do you think would be the family of the fishing spider? Okay, very good. Marami nakapag-identify ng Salticidae. Ito namang ating fishing spider. What do you think would be the family of this fishing spider? Okay, so sabi nila Kurt, Pisauridae. Sabi ni Catherine, Pisauridae din. So mukhang consistent, Pisauridae, pati Sir Joshua. Okay, so tama naman. Ang Nilus albocinctus is from the family Pisauridae. Okay, so yun yung method by which we try to identify the family of spiders. We look at how the eyes are arranged. But in terms of species identification, it's more complicated. We now review characteristics of the genus, we look at the web, the behavior, the ecology, distribution, before we get around to identifying the genus and the species. But kung family level identification, medyo okay na ng konti sa eye arrangements. Yun nga lang, it takes a bit of patience to look at the eye arrangements. Okay. So the itsy bitsy spider, terms of Philippine spider diversity, this is still a work in progress, but so far we have recorded around 584 plus species. I think every other month may bagong species ng spider na nididiscover, but I'm happy that there are more individuals working on spiders now. We have around 43 families belonging to 254 genera, with one introduced potentially invasive spider. So note that we have potentially invasive because we need further studies to be able to claim if this is really an invasive species. But knowing the identification, this is the Mediterranean recluse spider, Loxosceles rufescens. We recorded this, I think, around 2024 or 2023. 2023. We reported this as the first introduced spider that is thriving outside of the homes. Meron naman po tayong mga introduced species that are introduced because of the pet trade, but this one is thriving in a natural ecosystem, in a cave ecosystem. So in terms of endemics, we are also very careful in identifying endemics because we haven't really surveyed all of the Philippines for all of our spiders. Marami pa rin po tayong hindi accounted for. But there are species that we term as endemics simply because we know that currently their distribution is restricted. For instance, we have the Philippine orange tarantula, Selenobrachys philippinus, or the Philippine orange. And Polillo cave tarantula, this was described by, dapat hindi italics yung author name. This was described by myself and my advisee who was already teaching in UST. This is of Nicus Cueva Bordeos because Cueva cave, Bordeos would be the island. So it was discovered in the island of Bordeos in Polillo. So what would be the threats to spider diversity? One would be habitat loss. Pesticide use is also threatening spider diversity. Urbanization is cutting out the habitat also. Pet trade, in as much as pets may tend to alleviate your mental health, illegal pa rin po maghawak ng ating mga spiders because they are wildlife. And when we take out spiders from the natural ecosystem, we also deprive the spiders of the ecosystem services they could provide for us. They're also very prone to climate change impacts kasi spiders are soft-bodied. So any changes in temperature, very prone sila sa dehydration. And also, fear-driven extermination. So sometimes we use high pesticides or household insecticides to kill spiders simply because we do not want them in our homes. Kaya, when spiders are declining or spider populations are declining, ito yung mga examples ng mga in social media, maraming nagpo-post ng mga spiders that are for sale. I think a few months ago, there was this report na there were around 2,000 individual spiders that were seized by police because of RA 9147 or the Wildlife Act, because these spiders are also protected. And then marami po sa mga comments sa social media, bakit hindi na lang hayaan to, gagamba lang naman to. Parang konting kita lang naman to, dapat pinapalusot na lang natin. We have no idea of the actual impact that extraction of these spiders contribute to our ecosystems. But if we observe their nature as predators and their contributions in terms of, again, the ecosystem services I have mentioned earlier, then we will have better appreciation of why we shouldn't be trading spiders in the first place. Or if we are going to pursue spider trade, they have to be properly monitored. Meron naman pong permits na binibigay doon. Meron naman pong responsible individuals who take care of these spiders as pets. Tsaka kailangan ding ingatan na hindi makakawala yung mga introduced species natin to the wild. Kasi lalo na in the bigger spiders, they could feed off our wildlife like birds also. So even other organisms may be affected by the unwanted introduction of these spiders, yung introduced spiders. Yeah. So marami yan. Itong dalawang pictures na to, I just took a screenshot of it last night. Dalawa pa lang po yan. There are many individuals collecting spiders from the wild and selling them. Cheaper po kasi compared to taking care of yung panabong na manok. Kasi magkano yung aalagaan mo doon, samantalang ito mura lang po. And they're selling this for around 25, 50, up to 450 pesos or sometimes 1,000. So malaki ang kinikita din po ito. And the betting game is also very high. One night of spider fights would earn you around 10,000. So medyo kaya mahirap po siyang kontrolin. But again, reminders din po, when we extract spiders from the wild, we also deprive ourselves of the valuable ecosystem services that they may serve. So if you are interested in studying more about spiders or even arthropods in general, or just knowing them and use them for your learning materials, you can follow me at Instagram, AimsDupo. You can gather as much information on Philippine arthropods there for free. You can use the photos, the text. Just remember to either tag me or attribute me on that. So yun po yung aking last slide. And if you have additional questions, we'll be free to talk about it now. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, maraming salamat po, Ma'am Amy, for that very interesting talk on spiders, including their ecology, their ecosystem services. So if there are, and their lifestyles. Kasi tamang-tama talaga, marami talaga ang takot sa spiders, di ba? I think if we're going to ask our participants now kung sino ang takot sa spider, mangyari po lamang ay mag-raise hand. I think many of them will, isa na ako doon. Okay? So, if you have questions, kindly place them on the chat or on the Q&A box. Okay, andito na ang unang question from Sir John Mar. Are there records of ant-mimicking spiders in the Philippines? How many species po ang identified?
Meron naman po tayong records ng ant-mimic spiders, mere marami. Hindi ko lang maalala kung ilan sila lahat. But we have a checklist of Philippine spiders. For updating na lang siya.
Okay. Ito naman galing kay Sir Joseph. What are the least explored areas for research on spiders?
Least
Sa Pilipinas yata, ma'am.
Actually, lahat po least explored.
Yun din ang
Household
iniisip ko.
spiders, forest spiders. Kasi my dad works on spiders, but for the most of his life, he studied spiders of agroecosystems, particularly yung rice agroecosystem. So he spent more than 25 years of his professional life looking into spiders, pero nakakoncentrate siya sa rice agroecosystem. But outside of that, talagang it's an open field. Kung tutusin, ang dami ko pa rin pong backlog in terms of spider diversity studies. May mga na-collect na po kami, but we need to sit down and work on it. Kasi yung taxonomy, it's a very tedious field. Marami kang babasahin, kaya marami po akong libro dito. You have to review historical data, distributional data, and then if there are cryptic species, like say for example, magkakamukha, you also have to need molecular studies on it. So matrabaho po siya.
Maybe baliktarin natin, ma'am. Instead of saying what are the least explored, what are the already explored areas na nasa record na natin?
Ang most explore natin would be rice agroecosystems.
Okay. So,
Corn,
aside from that, aside from that, lahat pa ay underexplored, right?
yes, maganda kung kahit nga sa mga student studies, simple documentation lang of spider diversity in urban ecosystems in your homes. That would be good, a good platform for increasing our biodiversity studies, what we know about Philippine biodiversity.
Right. So so for our participants, there are really lots of opportunities pa for spider research, right, ma'am? Marami pa. So, in terms of identification, ma'am, sa spiders, so you start more on morphological, yung physical characteristics, right?
Yes.
Hindi required kaagad ang molecular work. Tama ba?
Yes, while convenient ang molecular work, we need to have reference materials din as basis for the molecular work. So, mas appropriate para sa tingin ko, tandem naman kasi lagi ang morphology and molecular work. But molecular work may be most useful lalo na sa magkakamukha, yung tinatawag natin cryptic species. Those
Cryptic.
that we have having trouble identifying or distinguishing using morphological techniques, we make use of molecular techniques. Kasi syempre, when we are studying, budget is also a constraint. For us to be able to make use of good budget, kailangan pipiliin din talaga natin agad yung anong tools would be most appropriate.
Okay, eto na. Tamang-tama ang sunod na question ni Sir Joshua. Do you think po, ma'am, na morphological taxonomy is still enough in describing new species po? Kasi some experts or researchers discredit or question discoveries that is solely using morphological.
Sa ngayon, it's still the gold standard in terms of identification. Bakit? Kasi ito pa rin yung una nating napapansin. How do we know if something is you or not kung hindi natin siya makikita? And yung morphology, it's not just looking at the parts, measuring the parts. It's also associating the behavior, the ecology with that particular structure. Marami pa rin kasing minsan na hindi na-resolve simply because yung initial nating studies, hindi na-supplement ng morphological studies.
So, in the field, ma'am, of spiders, pwede pa rin mag-introduce ng novel species kahit walang molecular support. It's still okay.
Still acceptable. Ang
okay.
kailangan lang po with the description of new species is that you assign a holotype, a basis for that description.
Yeah.
Kasi yung holotype, yun yung basihan eh. So when we publish this, and we have to describe something. And when we describe something, morphology ang gagamitin natin doon. So mapalik pa rin tayo.
And it should be clearly differentiated from existing species, the morphology. I think ang kailangan natin na i-ano dito, because I think that there is something with molecular and taxonomy, because this is usually depending on the field. Kasi for example, on mycology, on fungi, we don't usually accept any novel species without molecular support nowadays. Yes. Because of so many cryptic species that we're seeing, and because there had already been many species described na hindi na namin ma-differentiate talaga based on morphology. That's why we need the molecular support. So maybe this is something that we take note also na depende yun sa field. Kaya tinatanong ko sa spiders. So sa spiders, okay pa rin na like morphology lang. Kasi sa ano naman, I think sa algae naman, okay lang din naman sa kanila na molecular lang naman ang support, walang morphology. So it's really different across different taxonomic rules.
Oo,
Di ba, ma'am?
depende
So,
nga. I agree. Depende siya sa taxon na inaaral mo. Kasi
yes.
sa spiders, distinct, makikita mo, if you're looking at a male or a female spider, then you can compare the genitalia. You can see how they are reproductively isolated from other groups. But with microorganisms, for instance, you don't know where one microbe begin and the other ends. So, hindi mo siya pwede gamitan ng morphology. So, again, ito namang mga tools na to, it shouldn't pit professionals against one another. Kasi dapat to
Yes.
complementing. We have to use as many tools as we can. But if we are limited in terms of tools para sa aming mga nag-aaral ng spiders and insects, morphology would be enough. But if we would like to take it a step further, kaya nga tayo may systematics, we use other tools, molecular techniques, ecological techniques, chemotaxonomy, cytotaxonomy.
Yes, yes. Marami pang actually dagdag na data because each of these, like a description is a data. So if you add molecular, that's another group of data. If you need chemical things, those are also data. So ito ma'am, may pahabol po si sir. How about po yung mga past species discovered ng mga foreign experts po ang nag-describe and wala sa atin ang holotype po? Meron po ba tayong agreement or like permit to examine those holotype or type specimens?
By practice, ang ginagawa natin, if we would like to access holotypes, lalo na if they're not clearly indicated or illustrated dun sa kanilang mga publications, kung mahahanap natin kung saan museum sila nakadeposit, we could loan them. Kaya minsan matagal kasi if we would like to do a whole revision of the group, maglo-loan pa tayo, medyo matagal bago nila maipadala yung specimen. But alternatively, there are more and more museums who are now digitizing their collections. So hindi na kailangan ipadala yung specimens. You can view the photo of the specimen and examine them virtually. So pwede naman po yun. Dun sa
Alright,
tanong ninyo na may agreement like permit to examine yun, we loan the specimens to the curators.
At minsan, di ba, papahirapan minsan, depende to sa mga museums or sa like sa amin sa herbarium, mahirap minsan mag-loan ng mga holotypes and there are rules in handling the holotype. So, I'm glad na meron ganitong digitization because you don't need to handle the holotype but rather just the pictures or something. Kasi as much as possible, kung pwede na sa picture, ma'am, di ba, okay na yun. Yung parang dun na magdagdag ng descriptions.
Kasi iniiwasan natin na ma-damage yung mga holotypes.
Yung
Kasi once the
holotype.
holotypes get damaged, you cannot go back into time to
Yes.
the specific
Kasi
specimen. So important din ang digitization.
may mga holotypes di ba ma'am na like 1800s or something.
Yeah.
So like same din sa aming sa work like with fungi. If they have good pictures, they will just say, "We'll send you the pictures. You cannot loan the holotype." but we also understand. Sometimes may mga holotype din na you cannot cut the holotype. Anong gagawin ko dito kung hindi ko to pwedeng makat? Tititigan ko na lang at makikipagkilala sa kanya. Hindi wag na lang hiramin if we cannot examine it further. So those are also but it's good that it's actually being asked also. So if there are some more questions now for Ma'am Amy regarding spiders, you can send her a message or you can also type it again on the chat box. But ma'am, if there is one message about spiders no, that you want to convey itong to other people, ano ang pinaka-importanting message na gusto mong iparating?
The most important message, spiders are friends.
Oh, okay. So wag papatayin.
Leave them be.
Wag habulin ng tsinelas.
Oo, wag. Tatalunan kayo nun. Lalo pa kayong sisigaw.
May pahabol pa dito. Is it possible for spiders to recognize their caretaker?
I'm not so sure. Maybe kung jumping spiders, baka siguro kasi maganda yung vision nila. But we have yet to test this. Nakikita nila na itong mga jumping spiders dahil very keen yung kanilang vision. Nakikita nila na nakakapag-adjust sila sa movement. But in terms of recognition, it's good to try. Wala pa akong nababasa na pagdating dun sa pet recognition, yung do they attach themselves to you because they see you. Maganda din siyang i-explore for behavioral studies.
Pero that means na ito, if they recognize their caretakers, meaning you're making them as a pet, which means na hindi talaga dapat. Okay. So, maraming salamat ulit, Ma'am Amy, for your talk on spiders. Truly interesting, no? So, at this point, I would like to present the certificate for Ma'am Amy. I-display ko lang. Baka ibang screen na naman ang aking ma-share. Okay. So BIOTA Eastern Visayas chapter presents the certificate of appreciation to Professor Emilyn Barion Dupo of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, for generously sharing her expertise as a resource person during the BIOTA-EVC scientific webinar of Fireflies and Spiders held on October 18, 2025 via Zoom, given this 18th day of October 2025 and signed by our Chapter President, Professor Lenny Yap Deheto. Maraming salamat ulit, Ma'am Amy, for that interesting talk and sharing. So at this point, we would like to invite all our, if there are new BIOTA members here who are just about to who are about to join the organization. Ito po ang first activity niyo sa BIOTA. We're very lucky because Ma'am Amy is here, so we will have the oath of membership for the new members. So yung mga new members po dyan, kindly turn on your cameras so that we can acknowledge you. Anyway, okay naman po ang ating you can turn on your own cameras. Kindly turn on your camera so that we will see those new members. Kasi mix po ito, ma'am. May mga new members dito, ma'am, na hindi Eastern Visayas chapter. We will just like transfer them to their nearest chapters. Okay. So kindly open your cams for those who are new members. Remove ko lang ang spotlight ko. Masyado akong... Okay. Then I will share I have actually already shared in the chat box the oath of membership. I will share that again later for those who missed it. May I please request Ma'am Amy to administer the oath of membership? I-flash ko po, ma'am, ang script.
May copy naman ako.
Ay, okay po, ma'am. Sige po.
Check natin kung pareho.
Yung copy, baka hindi pareho, ma'am. Yung sa'yo na lang.
Parang mas mahaba yung sa akin. Sige.
Yan na lang, ma'am.
Okay. So, I would like to ask everyone to repeat after me. I state your name. Okay. Having been admitted as a new member of the Biology Teachers Association of the Philippines Incorporated.
Having been admitted as member of the
Biology Teachers Association of the Philippines Incorporated. Do hereby solemnly swear upon my honor.
Do hereby solemnly swear upon my honor.
To faithfully and willingly discharge the duties and responsibilities.
To faithfully
and willingly discharge
the duties and
responsibilities
of a member of the association.
Of a member of the association.
Fully conscious of the important obligations which I have voluntarily committed to assume.
Fully conscious of the important obligations
that I will assume.
I commit myself to uphold and defend the Constitution and bylaws of the Biology Teachers Association of the Philippines Incorporated. I commit myself
I commit
myself
to uphold and defend the Constitution and bylaws of the Biology Teachers
Association of the Philippines.
I pledge to promote the science of biology in all its branches as well as biology education and research. All this I take an oath and promise to do
and
observe to the best of my ability. without any mental reservation
without any
without any mental reservation
reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
So
evasion.
help me God.
So help
So
me
help
God.
me God.
Congratulations po sa inyong lahat. Welcome
Thank
to BIOTA.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much to our new members, and Ma'am Amy, maraming salamat ulit for joining our BIOTA-EVC scientific webinar. So welcome to all the members, and at this point, may I please ask all the participants to turn on your cameras so that we can have a souvenir photo. Kindly turn on your camera so that we can take a picture. Okay, I'll wait for others to turn on the cameras. Paki-on po ang inyong mga cameras. Okay. Wala nang mag-on, joke. Okay. Sige, meron pang humahabol. Okay. Smile po. 1, 2, 3. Isa pa. 1, 2, 3. Isa pa ulit kasi may mga bago pa. Alright. Thank you very much again. Maraming salamat sa inyo. And at this point, I would like to acknowledge again our chapter president who is now joining us live. Ma'am Lenny Deheto. Ma'am Lenny.
Hello, good morning pa rin ba? Good morning everyone. Ma'am Amy, thank you po. And Ma'am Jessa, thank you very much. At I think success naman. Ang dami kong ding natutunan. Fireflies and spiders, also very new to me kasi into the marine sciences ako sa mga dagat. But interesting na meron din palang connection ang fireflies at saka mangrove, which I'm starting to study yung mga mangrove. And I think one of our faculty here, kakatapos lang niya ng mangrove studies niya. So sana marami pang mag-study on fireflies, no? Kasi parang compared sa spiders, or is it talagang na spiders ay mas biodiverse kesa sa fireflies, o baka kasi konti lang ang study?
Pareho lang ma'am, malaking grupo sila pareho.
So ano? Pero hindi pa, parang konti nga pa lang talaga ang na-identify. Very, ang dami pa pala talagang hindi natin alam. At hindi na-describe and all. Ayun, I hope na nakinig ang lahat. Ako ay napuputol-putol. But ngayon nandito na. Sana hindi ako maputol. I'm just using the cafe kasi na I just recently lang nag-land yung plane. Kaya, well, but I'm glad na nakakinig pa rin ako for parang majority ng talk. Sana na-inspire din yung mga nandito. Some are actually not biologists na who are like sa academe. Some are naturalists and interested lang talaga sila sa mga sa nature, yung ganon, conserving nature. So, kahit na not tawag nito, yung not very serious na research ang gagawin, but more into conservation din, no? At saka, yung sabi nga ni Ma'am Amy na more parang tawag nito, addressing the quote-unquote fake news about spiders na hindi naman sila ganun pala kasama. Hindi nga talaga siguro sila masama, no? Because they're really the predators pala ng mga termites and even cockroaches. Nako, naubos na yata yung spider na malalaki namin sa bahay. Kasi hindi ko na sila makita. Dati nung maliit pa ako, nakikita ko sila. Siguro na ubos na sa spray. Nagsa-spray kasi kami. Oh no. Pwede pa ba po yung Ma'am Amy
Yes, ma'am. Very
bumalik?
sensitive po sila. Pwede naman ma'am bumalik. Pero pwede din po kasing wala sila dyan kasi wala masyadong ipis.
Marami kami ipis. Ano kaya? No, kaya
Ano
nga
lang ma'am.
nagsispray
Hintay
kami.
lang po kayo, babalik sila.
Sana, no? Okay. So, ang closing remarks daw. Ako pa yung nag-open. Ako rin yung close. So, yeah, ito na. Again, thank you everyone. Thank you for the participants. Ang gagaling nung iba. Hindi ko nahuhulaan na spider pala yun. Akala ko pero yung pala nagmimimik ng So, ang gagaling ng ating mga participants din. And yung iba, parang serious din talaga na they're into research. Merong mga graduate studies na students na who are into going into these researches on yung isang question was about fireflies naman. So, yeah. So again, once again, yun na, we'll close this webinar, and the next part nitong webinar is like I think exclusive lang po to sa Sir Chris, sa
Yes po, ma'am.
mga
After the closing po,
members.
for the Eastern Visayas chapter po.
For the Eastern Visayas chapter na members for our business meeting, may dapat mahalaga kaming pag-usapan tungkol sa aming first conference na that will siguro i-plug ko na rin, hopefully matuloy na first regional conference in biology. So we will be inviting paper presentations and poster presentations ng kahit secondary students, yung mga special investigatory problems nila. They can, if they want to present it in this conference, it will happen on February, early February next year. So we will hope to send the invitation soon. And yeah, we hope to see everyone sa conference na it will be a face-to-face conference in UP Tacloban. So invite ko na lang din po kayo in advance. And again, once again, thank you for coming, and hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you.
Okay. Maraming salamat
And
po,
thank you
Ma'am
din,
Lenny.
Sir Chris, yung one-man show dito. Sir Chris is the former president ng Eastern Visayas chapter. One-man show din siya doon. Noon. Then ngayon,
So,
naging one-man show ulit siya kasi
hindi naman. Okay.
nag-fly pa.
So, thank
Pero,
you so
pero
much
ayun.
again, Ma'am Lenny, no?
Ang
And
galing ni
since,
Sir Chris kasi inano pa niya, nasa YouTube pala tayo. So, kung
yes,
may
we also have
mga,
viewers in YouTube, ma'am.
yes. And you can review and send the link to the YouTube kung yung mga may interest on this. Pwede niyo siyang tawag nito, i-send, i-forward yung link. And so, yeah, we can review and view it as many times as we want.
Yes po, kasi naka-record din po siya sa YouTube and we will share it on our page. So maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat po to our participants also. And since kanina si Ma'am Amy was our speaker, right? And she was talking like the speaker. But Ma'am Amy is also the president of BIOTA. So maybe we can have a short message from the president of BIOTA. Ambush, ma'am, sorry.
Nandito ka na lang din, ma'am.
Andito na rin naman ako. So, iniimbitahan ko na kayo to participate sa ating upcoming kasi BIOTA is turning 60. Senior citizen na ang BIOTA
Okay.
sa 2026. So, we would like to invite you in advance on behalf of our governing board to attend our national conference and scientific sessions. I think this is April 16 to 18, Bicol po tayo.
Okay, Bicol. Okay. Meron na po bang ma'am, specific sa Bicol or still searching?
Wala pa, sir. We
Wala
are
pa.
still searching
Okay.
for a venue, but I think baka hotel naman po tayo.
Okay. Okay. So I hope that we will see again our Biotans come April kasi 60th year na ng Biota. I hope I can attend. I hope so.
Yes ka, sir.
Para makita natin yung
Ka
Mount
na
Mayon.
namin.
June pa rin kasi
Makita
ako
ba
babalik.
natin yung
But
Mount
I
Mayon
hope so.
dito?
Yes, magpapadala
Pupuntahan,
naman po
ma'am.
tayo ng invitation letter for the conference din po. And we'll try to secure endorsement po ulit ng taas po yata yon para sa ating conference.
Alright. So sabi nga dito ni Ma'am Melanie, they are interested in the national conference. So please do follow our Facebook page kasi all of our announcements are actually done through Facebook kasi usually doon naman tayo active. So kahit hindi tayo magaling mag-Facebook personally, napipilitan ako na doon mag-post because that is actually where most of you see. So please do follow our Facebook page and once we get the invitation from National, we will also forward these to you para makapag-register tayo to the National Convention on April in 2026 sa Bicol.
For those
Okay?
who are interested in becoming lifetime members po, you can attend the national conference at saka pati ba yung regional conference, magiging eligible na ba sila noon for a lifetime membership?
I think, ma'am, meron tayong years po yata sa national conference before they could apply for lifetime membership. Pero ang gawin na lang natin, ma'am, we'll be making a PubMat for this para for those who are interested to apply as life members, ipapakita natin yung procedure. And we're also working on streamlining yung mga membership applications po natin kung paano a-assign sa mga chapters kasi sometimes sa national sila dumediretso pero para maka-reach out din sa mga chapters, inaayos na rin po natin ito.
Right. Kasi nasuswamp din ang national in terms of membership.
Yes.
Parang ang laki ng task na yun, ma'am. Especially that BIOTA accepts membership all around the year. Like, hindi lang siya season. Like, kahit kailan pwedeng mag-apply to BIOTA. And I think this is also important for our members. We would like to remind you na may iba-iba po ang expiry natin ng membership ng BIOTA. And this is in our certificate of membership. So kung hanggang October 2025, then you need to renew so that you will be an active member again. Kaya din ginawa namin ang scientific webinar na to also let the members check their status in terms of membership. So marami naman po. Kaya marami din ang hindi nag-oath kanina kasi they are already active members and they have activated also again their membership for this scientific webinar. So nakakatuwa naman. Okay. So I think kung wala na, no, we would like to thank again our resource persons for today, si Ma'am Chessa, si Ma'am Amy, and of course all of you who participated here, yung mga participants natin kahit Sabado. Thank you for joining us. I am going to share the QR code for the evaluation form, although I have already shared the link to the evaluation form in the chat. But if you need a QR code, this is the QR code for the evaluation form. Kindly evaluate the webinar. Please use the email that you registered, because if you don't use the email that you registered, you will not be able to fill out the form, because after filling out the form, you will receive the certificate of participation for this webinar. So if you don't fill out the evaluation form, you will not also receive the certificate of participation. So please do use the registered email that you have. That is the email where you received the meeting link. Okay? So again, maraming salamat po sa lahat, and this will now conclude the BIOTA Scientific Webinar. After this, pagkatapos po ng singing ng BIOTA hymn, we would like to request the members of the Eastern Visayas chapter to please remain, because we will have a short business meeting. We will actually discuss the upcoming first ever conference ng Eastern Visayas chapter. So ulit, maraming salamat po sa pagdalo sa BIOTA-EVC Scientific Webinar na ito.
BIOTA Philippines, together we stand before our God in the service of man. Year after year we dedicate ourselves to guide able hands, to inspire great minds, drawing strength from those who came before us, finding courage as we take each other's hands. Together we keep the fire of knowledge burning to light this road that we all travel in. Leaves so green in the morning light, shiny pearls so pure and white, symbol of the life we breathe. And in our hearts of hope within, BIOTA Philippines, BIOTA Philippines, BIOTA Philippines has led the way, BIOTA Philippines, forever we stay.
Alright, maraming salamat po ulit. The non-EVC members may now leave. Ma'am Chessa, Ma'am Amy, maraming salamat po ulit for gracing our event. Salamat po, Ma'am Amy. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
For-
Ma'am Amy and Ma'am Jessa.
Ma'am Chessa, salamat po. I will send the certificate po sa email. And then, for EVC members, kindly remain. Parang classroom ka.
Paano natin malalaman if nandito
Teka muna, i-stop ko lang ang aking stream at para hindi na natin...
para makita natin kung sino.
I will stop the stream first. Thank you for our